find a place for the Lord, a dwelling place for the mighty one of Jacob. Lord, I want you to dwell in my midst. I want to be a habitation. Lord, I will not rest until my life becomes that place that you overshadow, that place that you rest upon, that place where the cloud of your presence comes to visit with me as a friend, speaks to a friend. Like Moses, God, in Exodus 33, Moses took his tent and he pitched it outside the camp, far from the camp, and he called it the tabernacle of meeting. And it came to pass when Moses entered the tabernacle that the pillar of cloud descended and stood at the door of the tabernacle. And the Lord talked with Moses.
Of what's going to take place.
The Lord spoke to Moses face to face.
Mark the date. I'll come back with more information probably tomorrow
to his friend.
To share with you, along with my
Lord,
partner,
I want to be your friend.
about what God is going to do in a mighty way.
I want to be your friend
on March 11th. So March 11th, mark that down now.
I want to see you face to face. I want to speak to you face to face as a man speaks to his friend. Lord, I want the simplicity.
Natural healing there.
Like Moses.
If you know that you're still facing
a
bad
cloud,
reports
you
from the
stood
doctor,
before Moses.
one of those areas that the mantle God has given me is the healing deliverance power where it deals with blood diseases, hepatitis
Lord,
C,
all
of these different strong other areas that people have faced over the years that they haven't told nobody about, whether it was an abortion or whatever. We want you to come and be prepared for God to really move mightily for you to pull those strongholds out. So I won't go any further. I want you to hear just a little bit of this here, and then we're going to go back into the message. Now, this is going to be two parts because I won't get to talk to you next week as much as I'd like to, because I got something else to share with you next week. So I wanted to stay on target with what I said I will complete as far as I was talking about last week on the thread of competition. But I got these 15 keys that I need you to know about. Listen to this.
Oh God.
Thank you, Lord.
The children of men, they put their trust under the shadow
of
your wings.
Listen.
Lord, I am abundantly satisfied with the fullness of your house.
Yes.
Lord, you give me drink from the river of your pleasures.
Yes, God.
Lord, I want to drink. I want to drink. I want to drink from your river. I want to drink from your river fullness.
Yes, God.
The fullness.
Fullness. That's what you're going to get when you come.
The fullness of your house. Lord, I drink.
Right at the filling station of heaven. You got to be there.
Lord, I drink.
You got to stop it. You got to get busy here. So anyway, let's talk about this message. Okay. We talked about last week, we talked about the threat of competition, and I covered several different things in regards to, how people are flowing out of doing rather than being who God has called them to be. And then so today I want to kind of recap on talking about those areas that we need to look at, those human needs that we have to have in order for us to be successful in the call in our lives. Now remember, this is not just leadership. This is people, period. Because we all are called to lead. We all have goals. We all have visions. And so with that, we need to understand how important it is for us to be healthy in those areas for it to grow, for God to be able to bless it, so that we won't have those insecurities, so we won't be doing things that we should not do. Let me set my alarm here because, like I said, this is two parts and want to make sure that everybody gets an opportunity. Now, I've already talked about those particular nuggets and wanted to share talking about, let me just back up and kind of share in regards to the human needs. We talked about the sense of worth. We talked about the sense of belonging. We talked about the sense of purpose. We talked about the sense of competence. That's very important. Now, the reason why I did it on this, network, because I wanted to make sure that everybody got an attempt to go back and click on it if they wanted to see it or share it, so it won't be a difficult time in doing that. But many of us are hooked up with the wrong relationships. So many of us are hooked up with the wrong type of people who say that they're there to support the vision and the dream that God has given us to do. But many times we get with those populations, and then before we know it, we're being derailed. I talked about that last week. But I want to talk about some of the areas that we need to look at. Before I closed out last week, I said, how should we respond to the crucial issues that's causing us to be in these places? Well, here's a couple of the things that we need to look at. Leaders should settle the issues with God before they reach positions of influence. So settle whatever issues you have with the individual or whatever you're dealing with that's causing you to be delayed and where you need to be. Settle that before you try to go forward. Many people are trying to go forward when they haven't dealt with that's behind. And then the second one is our personal worth and security must come from our secret history with God. That don't mean you need to go try to prove nothing to nobody because you feel insecure. You want to make sure they know you know how to do this and you're anointed to do this and that. No, because trust me, the gift is going to make room for it. Our daddy God has already said that our gift is going to make room for us. So you don't have to do that. And then the third thing is we should never place our emotional health in the hands of another. Let me see if my time is working. Yes, it is. In the hand of another. Don't take your emotional issues, don't take those things that you feel that's going to make you feel complete or whole and put them in the hands of another. That means that you're dependent on them to complete you. You're dependent on them to make you feel or have self-worth. And then number 4, we must release people from the expectation that they will meet our basic needs. That's very, very important that we look at, are we dependent on other people to, whatever we're doing, that if we do a certain thing, then our expectation is going to be trying to meet whatever they need rather than meeting what Jesus, our daddy God, want us to do for us to be able to bring him glory. Now, we can become healthy leaders. I talked about that only when we don't expect others to meet those needs that only God can meet. Say that over them. Now, here are some of the symptoms. These are some symptoms, and then I'm going to get into these 15 keys for you to kind of look at. I'm going to stop when my bell rang, and I'm going to pick back up and give part 2 so you can get both. Because, again, I know I'm not going to finish this out next week, but I do want to make sure that I give those today. And then you can look at these 20, 25-minute spans, because our span ain't long. And then after that, you can then, listen to one, stop it, fast forward, whatever. That's why I did it on here on YouTube. So some of the common symptoms of insecurity, these symptoms usually indicate this feeling of insecurity as follows. I talk about because we are in this threat of competition. Number 1 is comparison. We compare ourselves with others and we keep score. Yeah, a whole bunch of people keep the score. Well, I do this. It's a tit-for-tat kind of thing. And, a lot of people going broke because they try to keep up or trying to do something. I'll top that kind of mentality. And then compensation. We feel like a victim and must compensate for our losses. Many people feel like that, maybe that didn't work or that conference didn't make a bunch of people come or whatever. So now you're trying to compensate by doing something else to see if you can make that work. Trust me, if it ain't God's timing, it ain't going nowhere. And if you have not dealt with those areas in your life or the season in your life that he has allowed to be there for your spiritual growth, you're just going to be still just going around the mulberry bush until you pass that test. And then number 4, competition. We become self-consumed and try to outdo others for attention. I said that. And then number 4, compulsion. We feel driven to perform in order to gain others' approval. Then number 5, condemnation. We judge others or ourselves, resulting in self-pity or conceit. Yes, we do. We judge ourselves based on what others are thinking. We start feeling sad for ourselves and hoping that others will be able to see or want to come and do because, you want to try again. The devil is a lie. You only need to be doing and when and how God tells you to do a thing. And then number 6, control. We feel we must take charge, meaning protect our interests and manipulate. That is a very bad spirit that's going on today, a lot in the body of Christ. Many people are being very manipulative and cunning, so they need to continue to make sure that they take charge or find a way to get the person or whatever the thing to go another way, hopefully, that it'll be able to bless them the way they hope it will bless them. The devil is plain stupid. Now, I want to give you 4 keys to the security, and I'm going to jump into the 15 keys that you need to understand about the dream, about the vision that the devil is trying to hold you up in. I pray you share this. Now, these 4 keys to secure yourself, first of all, I talked about that earlier on last week when I talked about you got to get your identity together. Too many of us, especially as women, we talk too much, we share everything, and we wonder why we can't get ahead. Now, I guess you said, well, Dr. Murphy, you come on Sunday night, like, why are you here this early? Well, I have something to do. That's why I'm here. I want to say hi anyway, but I got to do what I got to do. I try my best to make sure that I'm committed to what I say I'm going to do. And so I really want to share about these 4 keys, and I'm going to jump into that. But this identity issue is a very big issue because we tend to establish our identity in something else when we're supposed to be establishing our identity in Christ Jesus and not in performance. We got a lot of people who are doing a bunch of performances and there's no anointing on it. Please stay in your lane. Do what God has called you to do. And only that God has called you to do. And make sure you know it's his voice and not your flesh. And then number 2, brokenness. We need to allow God to break you of your self-sufficiency and your self-promotion. This is one of the things that's keeping us from being secure because we want to get in a place that we can feel sufficient of ourselves, or we can do this and that, or I'm going to do this and we want to help God out. This is the reason why things are delayed, because you're still trying to make things happen. You're still trying to do things, just wasting money and time. And God is just sitting back looking at you going, bless her heart, bless his heart. He still want to do this here and trying to get attention, and I ain't even in it. And then number 3 is purpose. You discover and practice your God-given purpose in life, not someone else's. We're going to talk about that in a minute because many of these people are really like Joseph's brothers and sisters and want to try to get you to get derailed or to throw you in a hole or hold you up so that you cannot pursue. But the devil is a lie. I pray that these 15 keys begin to help you out today. Let me see where I'm at right down the timing, okay? And then number 4, give and receive the blessing. Learn to affirm others and receive affirmation. Many of us don't want to affirm or receive affirmation. If you're a leader that listen to me right now, we got to understand that's power in affirmation. That's power in endorsement. You know why? Because now you have success to what God has given you, and now you're raising up the leader to say, yes, you can too. I believe that God has equipped you and preparing you for such a time as this to do a greater work, to go further in the ministry call on your life. And we need to equip them. That's what our job is supposed to be as leaders. We're supposed to grow them up in the spirit based on the gift that God has called them and use them in that gift and help that fruit to get better in their character, whatever that thing is deficient. And so anyway, let me get into this other area, and we hopefully will come with number 5 of our insecurity issues or traps that the devil has tried to give us over the decade. So I want to talk about these things. Now, the first one, ID 15 says that, now incidentally, I want to make sure you know, these are by Mike Murdoch, which I thought was awesome. Earlier on in my ministry, when I was an evangelist traveling internationally, I remember going to a conference that he had, and I just will never forget and got this little book. You want to go ahead on and take these down because you know he is a powerhouse in giving these different wisdom nuggets. And these that really touched me and made me really understand where I'm going and what God had for me. Because a lot of people who are in your life, you'll begin to see these when I give you these 15, that a whole bunch of readjustments need to take place in order for you to move forward. Many of you are derailed because of the threat of competition, because you're competing about something that is not even for you. You're competing about something that God has not even designed for your ministry or the vision that he's giving you. It just looks super spiritual, or it looks like it's getting financial gain. So many people are so greedy, wanting money, so they'll do whatever it takes to try to get there. The devil is crazy. Do not fall into that trap. So the first one, concerning your dreams and your goals, is that you want to recognize that others cannot discern what is important to you. You alone and you alone only is going to be knowing what God is saying and what is important that God wants you to do. You know, you want to make sure that whatever it is that you like, whatever God has told you to do, you write that down and make it plain and do only that. Don't depend on your sister girlfriend or your bro to be saying, yeah, I'm with you, because all of them are not going to be with you. You need to understand that you have to decide. You have to discern and decide what part of this are you going to do that God is telling you to do that God wants now. And then, and first of all, they don't really understand. What they really want you to do is to lower your standards. That's what they want. They want to lower your standards and try to keep you in the old place. And number 2, you want to discern and treasure anything or anyone that energizes and motivates you. You want to make sure that you begin to look at those people who are there to motivate you, those people that are seeing your gift and encouraging your gift, and those are the people that you really want around you. These people here are going to help you understand what it is that you're seeing in your spirit, what you're hearing God about to mature you in that thing. You don't want people around you going, oh, girl, that's just a dream. Oh, girl, you still on that. That was last year. You had that same dream. You know, just like Joseph's brothers. You don't want them kind in your face because they are haters and they're jealous and they are competitors. They're trying to keep you back. And then number 3, why are they trying to keep you back, Dr. Murphy? Because they want to covet that gift. They want to make sure they're there to see what they can get from you to try to look like that God told them. And so everything that they are seeing or everything they're hearing, next thing you know, they're preaching your message. They're putting your messages in their books. Or they're going around doing stuff that they have no business doing, that God has not given them a permission to do, and that they're coveting what you are saying and what you're doing. You know, and as long as they're giving you credit for that, that's all right. But if they're not giving God glory, saying, oh, God spoke through Dr. Murphy and this and that, and so I use this from her, just like I just told you, this is Mike Murdoch. We can't just come on and plagiarize. We got to make sure that we are using what God is telling us to use and using what God is telling us to say to be able to help a sister and a brother out. Okay, number 3, stop apologizing to those who don't understand what you love. You need to make sure that in this hour, we have a bad habit of apologizing to people or trying to shift what God has called us to do and doing whatever people want us to do or trying to, accommodate whatever people want to make it look like they're trying to draw to us. The devil is a lie. And it's just not going to work anyway because these discussions, these things that we do, they don't even fit in them. And you're going to be able to tell because they're going to either go to sleep or they're going to tell you they got to go or they're yawning because they don't qualify for that type of vision or dream that you got them in the mix. Some of the stuff you're talking too much, you shouldn't be sharing with them. Let me calm it down. Okay. And so you need to look at the sensitivity of what you are sharing. You need to look at sensitivity and how much of this information can you share. Everybody get excited about a dream or a vision. They want to share that thing. But too often we're sharing stuff that God has not told you to share with these people. And so they're not going to understand. They're not going to be able to even comprehend. So be quiet on that. Make sure that you don't find yourself trying to get them to understand anything. And then number 4 is do not depend on others to understand your dreams and your goals. You need to make sure you permit them their individuality because what God has given you is for you and what God has given them is for them. And so they're going to have to respect where you at and you need to respect where they are. Do you need to participate where they are? No, you don't. But if God has given you divine appointment to be with them, to do a thing, then you do that thing and only that thing and not anything that they think that I see God putting us together to do. No. You need to do what God has shown you that you need to be doing for that person. Why? Because then now you won't be grieved because now you overcommitted and doing stuff that you know God did not tell you to do because you feel like it's going to be a great opportunity for you to preach, a great opportunity for you to get on a platform. No. Don't go there. You need to make sure you stay exactly what God is telling you to do so that you can soar in what He's called you to. So do not depend on others to understand these dreams and visions, and make sure you do not refuse you refuse, that is, their intimidation. You refuse these areas that they try to put you in to make you feel like you're going to be delayed or intimidated to persuade you to do something else. No. Don't go there and do not be afraid to say no. Well, like I always tell people, I got a PhD in N-O. Ask my kids. I know how to do that real good. I'm going to say no because you're not going to put me in your mess. Let's go on number 6. Number 5, except that many may not celebrate what you're pursuing. They do not treasure those things that are important to you. This can be heartbreaking when those you love may be disinterested. That is so true. Don't take it so hard, and it does hurt when your own husband. I remember when I was married, my own husband, every time I told him such dreams and visions the Lord had shown me, he would just look at me. And it would make my heart hurt. It's like, you don't even believe that God would give me that. You don't believe that. We're in an hour right now that we cannot expect that. And we should not, we should expect it. But when we know that we're not going to get it, especially if they're not on the same plane you're on, well, you expect it. So you need to make sure that you do not worry about waiting on someone to celebrate what God is showing you to do. Okay? And so number 6 is determine what matters to you more than anything else. It's very important for you to determine that. What matters more to you? I never forget when I was married, what mattered to me was for a good marriage, I just wanted to build family. I wanted to have a good marriage. And I know many of you that may be watching me today may be challenging your marriage, especially women that are called to ministry. Many of you all go through hell and high water. I know we do. Because when you call to ministry, many of the men that don't believe in women that being called to ministry, you're going through a whole lot of hot water. But I'm telling you right now, what God has called, can no man stop. And one thing you can rest assured of is God has called it not your flesh. God will take care of that spouse. All you need to do is pray for them. But that was one of the things that I thought was really, really hard for me. I had to determine, do I love my husband more than I love God? Many of you have made your spouses a little God with a small g. And what we need to understand is that they're not our gods, but they are, I used to call him my black king. Now, he was my king at home in the natural, but my great king, the great I am, the El Elyon, the Most High God, that is the one that I would go to about matters. That is the one that I would say, I need to talk to you about this king you have given me. One thing I do understand is that you will not be my king. You will not be my Lord. You are my Lord as far as my husband is concerned, but you are not my Lord with the Lord, with the capital, that takes care and that has brought me and I breathe and have my being every day because of. So many of you need to understand that we've got it all twisted. You need to know that you have to determine what matters to you more. Do you want to make him your God? Do you want to make her your God? Or do you want God to be the ultimate, deliverer, the ultimate one that will take care of everything that concerns you in that marriage and that ministry? And I believe that if you put God first and pray for God to help you in that marriage, I can guarantee you he will. Because when I decided that my husband was not going to be my God, then everything started to shift. He had to tell me, you are out of order. I'm supposed to mean more to you than God. I said, oh my God, okay. You better know I didn't listen to that, thank God. But anyway, your financial dreams will require attention. Our physical health requires attention, and we need to pay attention because the devil is doing things that we need to see in the spirit, that we need to watch and pray about. And so if you don't do that, then you are going to get derailed. You are going to be off. So it's very, very important that you make sure you send this link out so others can understand how important that we need to pay attention to what God is trying to show us so we won't get derailed, so we won't be slowed up or hindered by the things that we're having expectation from other people, because other people have these types of mentalities that they have this competition all the time, trying to make you feel insecure about who you are called to do, and your dreams and vision that God has given you to do. And then number 7, invest 1 hour in writing down clearly the things that really matter to you at this point. Now, this is very important because our dreams and our vision are forever changing. Why? Because we grow from glory to glory, especially if you're studying and you're maturing, you're going to school, you're learning, and you are humble and obedient to those who have rule over us. That means your pastor or your mentor. This is how we grow. But many of us, we can't grow and go because we're not humble. And we're very disobedient. And so God will let you keep going around that wilderness until you get it. That you're going to learn that I have put these in your life. This is your pastor. This is your mentor. This is your leader. So that I can show you what it is that I have for you to understand based on where I've called you to and what I've shown you in a dream or a vision. And so you need to invest 1 hour in writing down clearly the things that really matter to you at this point. That means you can keep it confidential. Please, I advise it. Just journal it, but don't run around telling everybody. Keep it confidential, and keep it private, and make sure that it's not there for nobody else's eyes to see. I never in my life pretty much like Joseph telling everybody everything, his brothers, and he thought he could confide in his own brother. Yeah, right. But but when we got even our own siblings in our own houses, they will mess you up. And so you must continually assess and evaluate any changes of your goals you are experiencing in your ministry or the vision that you see God has shown you. Because many of you are having dreams and God is showing you things that he wants you to add and take note about. Or he's trying to show you something that he tried to get you to do, but you didn't do it. So he's trying to get you to write that thing. So he has to show you in types and shadows and hoping that you will write it down. But many of you won't even write it. Just start jumping on whatever you saw in the dream or jumping on whatever you saw in the vision. And then when you do that, then now he's saying, I didn't tell you to do that. I'm trying to show you what to pay attention to. Well, there's the bell. I'll get on part 2 right now. Okay. All right. I'll be right back. Please share this one.